Once we have our thing opened right here, we'll see. I want to make some edits right now, so I'm going to actually add a bunch of stuff to this Get Workflow MD, which is actually it's just a markdown file that has a description of hopefully everything that I'm recording right now. But this is a lot of the stuff that I've been putting in it currently, and I'm just going to copy this all into this so that I can demonstrate exactly how to make a pull request. That's just on a Google Doc. But basically, let's say I put this in here. I'm going to do a Command V. See this? This is all this is Markdown. But yes, okay. So here, once I've made these edits, Visual Studio Code actually automatically saves it, which is very nice. But I'm going to go in here to the command line. And I'm going to do a Get Status. See, I'm still on my feature branch right here. I've changed the branch, but see, I've modified this Get Workflow MD. So because of this, before this is like saved and put up to the cloud, I have to add it. Not to say I don't want to add it. There's actually a way you can not add files. That's using a .getignore. But I don't have a .getignore, and we don't need one for this thing. There's some documentation on that. You'll probably need one to take out node modules later. But for our sakes, we're just going to add everything so that we can save it. We want to save our changes so that we can push it back up there, back up to BitBucket so that it can be used. So what we're going to do is we're going to do git add dot. That's like basically everything that's in the red I want you to add and prepare to commit, basically. So I'll click enter on that and it adds it. I'll do git commit -m, which is just basically saying I want to commit the current branch, and this is the message that I'm going to put with this commit. You need to include a commit message every time. It's important, but I'm just going to say added changes, added important changes to Git workflow.md. And I'll click enter. And then what it'll do is here in the .git folder, what it's going to do is it's going to actually take those changes, it's going to write like a little fancy thing so that it can actually differentiate between different commits in different versions. So you're like saving a version history, which is really valuable for developers so that if something breaks, you can just go back to a previous version. So what we're going to do is do a git status again. Status. As you see, we're ahead of the origin of our branch by one commit. So we've made one commit on this so far. Normally what you'll do then is you'll make lots of edits and make lots of commits as you're editing and building code. And then eventually when you have something that you feel like is pretty dang good and you want to make a pull request, basically you want to make your branch the master branch, or you want to make the changes that you made. I've made some really great changes to the Git Workflow MD and I want to put it onto the master branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, again, before you do, you'll do git status to make sure. I'm going to do that. Clear, that just moves everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to push this up to the origin of the branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do git push. If you're on master, you could push this straight up, but we don't do that, so you don't do that. So instead you're going to do git push origin, because I want to push my current code changes all the way up to the branch that I've been working on. This should only be your branch, you should only be the one doing this branch, but push origin and then the name of the branch. So feature-joseph-edits. Enter. And I'll ask for my password right here. I'll give it that. And it'll count the objects and write the object changes up to the top. Then I can do git status again, and you'll see it's now up to date. This branch is at least. What we've done is now, whenever it does git status, it just checks to make sure that the current commit is the same in the cloud that it is locally. Now what you want to do is make a pull request. Once you've had this, you should be able to go up here, and we're going to show you exactly what this looks like in BitBucket. So in BitBucket, if I go to the source code here of the onboarding file, we still have this Joseph edits right here that I've been making. And we see right here this I created a commit right here, and you can see it'll tell you the last message of changes that were made on it, so you know if there were recent changes 3 minutes ago. There's a commit on this branch. You can kind of read a description of the change instead of having to understand everything that's going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this branch now, and we are going to make a pull request. So once you go to the branch, you'll see we've got our branch here. You'll click Create Pull Requests. And you want to make sure this is kind of set up right, but I want to merge this branch, these edits that I made, into the master so that everybody can use it and so that it can be deployed. Normally we'd actually deploy this on a server, but this is just more of just for our sake in this case. But this teaches the principles, give a good description of it. I feel these changes will help people understand Git and the way we work. Perfect. And then after this, I want to add some reviewers. Now, you should always add the reviewers of the person who's like kind of the head of the repository. If you're on a team or whatever, whoever that is, you should add. So in my case, I'm going to add Arthur Judd because he is he's kind of also over this repository. And I could add Cameron. I'll just add her for this just because of it. And once the branch is done, if you don't think you need it anymore, then you will close the branch, basically delete the branch afterward. So just it'll keep the commits, but you don't need to have a massive list of branches. And down here, it's kind of cool. It actually puts diffs. It tells you what the differences are if you want to look at the differences that you've been making as you did that. Now you're going to create a pull request. Once the request is made, what will happen is you'll need to get some reviewers. So because I'm actually one of the head people, I can just merge it right now, but that's not usually what you want to do. What you'll go is you'll see and you'll be like, yes, of course, I made this edit, so I want to approve it. But you'll wait, and the other two reviewers, they'll be checking it incrementally, and they will go and they'll approve it. And once there's, I believe, 2 or 3 people who review it, maybe just 1 sometimes, they will click merge and they'll merge it. In my case, I'm just going to merge it right now so you can kind of see how this works. But I'll merge it, and this is the commit message, but you see it's going to take my branch, it's going to put it in the master, and it's going to close the branch afterwards. It's going to be deleted. Click merge. Perfect. So now you see this pull request was just barely merged. And we're going to go to our source, and you'll notice that our master has now been updated too. With the same commit that we had in there, important changes to the Git workflow, that they're in the master branch as well, because we checked and make sure that everything worked. It's really important that we do this branch strategy, because if you make changes that could break the file, we just want to make sure that we don't break things. And then not only that, everybody's up to date on the code that other people are doing. You get some good reviewing, and this is also the way that software is built almost exclusively in the workplace. Software developers use this pull request strategy all the time, so you should know how to use it. But yeah, that's it right there. And you can see that this is pretty much how to do it.